What a comeback by this Packers football team in the fourth quarter. Down 17-0 against the New Orleans Saints. First start for Jordan Love at Lambeau Field. Come back to win this game 18-17. Welcome back into the channel. We have a lot to talk about this Packers football team and this Week 3 win against the New Orleans Saints and what was a very ugly game. First 3 quarters of it, and a very thrilling, ecstatic game to finish it out in that fourth quarter. Man, I'm at a loss for words. What a win by this Packers. The perseverance from this defense, offense, Jordan Love, absolutely insane. So in this video, I'm going to give my instant thoughts and reaction to this Week 3 fourth quarter comeback Green Bay Packers win. So firstly, I'm going to start with this fourth quarter. I'm not going to start with the ugly just yet because we do need to talk about some things that need to be cleaned up with this football team. But I'm going to start with the fourth quarter because that's what matters. What matters is the Packers won this game in an awesome fashion, a comeback in that fourth quarter. The defense really stepped up in this second half. You know, going into the half 17-0, they only still allowed 10 points because one of the touchdowns was on a punt return touchdown. So regardless, the defense going into half, I thought did decent enough, right? But that second half completely shutting them down. And we could sit here and say, yes, it's because Derek Carr went down with that injury and Jameis Winston came in. But you cannot make excuses, right? Just like you can't make excuses for the Packers. Without Christian Watson, Aaron Jones, David Bakhtiari, Elton Jenkins, Jair Alexander, Devondre Campbell leaving in mid-game, Carrington Valentine, Jair's replacement leaving mid-game. I mean, they were way more banged up than this Saints team, yet still persevered in that fourth quarter and came back down 17-0. It's still insane that I'm even saying this. And I will say this. I am extremely impressed with the way Jordan Love played in that fourth quarter, right? Upwards up into that point, it didn't look great. The offense was off timing. They couldn't run the football. There was penalties left and right. But the way he stuck in this game, right, and believed in his wide receivers, believed in himself even after some drops by wide receivers, more penalties, not able to run the ball, staying in this game and coming back to score 18 points in the fourth quarter to win it. Jordan Love finished 22 of 44, 259 yards, a touchdown, an interception, got sacked once, and had a bad quarterback rating, a 66.4. So if you're just looking at the box score, you'd go, oh, Jordan Love didn't have a good game. And I do think he left a lot out on the field to begin this game, the first 3 quarters. But at the end of the day, it's about winning the game. It is about winning the game, and Jordan Love showed his ability to do that in the fourth. Jordan Love was also the leading rusher of this Packers team. 9 carries for 39 yards, a 4.3 average, and the running touchdown on that read option, juking out Demario Davis. What an awesome play by Jordan Love. And I was saying this all offseason. I think we're going to be surprised with Jordan Love's athleticism, and he's showing you why. Jordan Love looks extremely poised in the pocket, especially in this fourth quarter, getting around pressure, managing that pocket, extending the play when he needs to with his feet, and running the ball when he needs to, or making a throw on the run. I've been very impressed with Jordan Love's ability for all of those things throughout 3 weeks of the season, not only today, throughout the first 3 weeks. His poise in the pocket and his ability to deliver a ball to the open wide receiver, going through multiple reads and maybe just checking it down to the open wide receiver, but he's been very impressive in that regard. The Packers' run game was still not here. Aaron Jones inactive for this game. We thought, hey, we're back at Lambeau. Maybe A.J. Dillon has a bounce-back game. Still really wasn't the case, but in my eyes, it's not all on A.J. Dillon. I feel like the Packers are just kind of not using him in the right way at this point. Plus, the run blocking has been pretty abysmal to start this season. I feel like there was multiple times when it really wasn't A.J. Dillon's fault. Like there was nothing he could have done to gain yards based on what the Packers called and how they didn't do a good job run blocking. I mean, early in that second half, a toss to A.J. Dillon out of shotgun, and it's a loss of 7 on a first down run. DeGuara completely whiffing on a block and a guy unblocked in the backfield for a loss of 7. Like, that's not on A.J. Dillon. They need to be running A.J. Dillon north and south. I'm kind of fed up with all these shotgun runs for A.J. Dillon. You need him to start with a head of steam, not flat-footed on a run out of shotgun. You can do those things with Aaron Jones, but not with A.J. Dillon, in my opinion. And I feel like they've just really been misusing him, and he could definitely play better. Like, I'm not saying he hasn't been pretty bad, because there's times when I feel like his ball carrier vision isn't great. He doesn't follow blockers well, or he runs right into a defender. That definitely has happened, but the Packers aren't really doing him any favors as well with the play calling and run blocking. We also saw Keyshawn Nixon get a running play, a reverse that went for 11 yards. So really cool to see that. I was kind of wondering if we would end up seeing that this year, but nonetheless, really cool to see that. Going over the receiving stats for the Green Bay Packers, what a game by Romeo Doubs. Let me start off, continuing to step up in the absence of Christian Watson, who is arguably their number one wide receiver. Romeo Doubs continues to impress me, being that number one guy, making plays left and right. 5 receptions, 73 yards. Of course, that touchdown, made an awesome catch up the left sideline for 30 yards in that fourth quarter, and also that fade route on Isaac Yiadom, of all people. I mean, I didn't even know Isaac Yiadom was on the Saints, let alone getting defensive snaps in a game, and actually doing decently well until the end of that game. The Packers kept attacking him. I mean, if you told me 3 years ago that Jimmy Graham and Isaac Yiadom would be making plays against the Packers in 2023, I would say you're lying. But that was the case. Jimmy Graham even had a touchdown, which was just like disgusting to see. But Isaac Yiadom making plays at corner, and also Alontae Taylor for the Saints, had an excellent game. The Packers kept attacking him for some reason, and he kept making plays until the very end when they found Jayden Reed up on a slot fade, and he made an excellent catch. Jayden Reed, also a great day, but did leave a lot out on the field. Jayden Reed had 3 receptions for 63 yards, had a nice attempt at a catch in the end zone on a fade route, fell to the ground. Alontae Taylor's foot kicked the ball out of his possession. Got to hang on to that. And then late in the fourth quarter, a corner route, Jordan Love fired a perfect ball to him on the sideline. He dropped that as well, and then ended up diving into the Gatorade stand there. Got to hang on to that as well. So Jayden Reed definitely left a couple on the field, and that quick flat pass that should have been a touchdown that he kind of looked to run before he caught the ball. Luckily, the Packers still scored with that Jordan Love read option, but he definitely left a lot on the field, but yet still had a good game. And I'm glad Jordan Love came back to him even after those drops in that fourth quarter on that slot fade, an excellent diving catch. This is something that we kind of aren't used to seeing for this Packers team. Usually you would see Aaron Rodgers throw to a young wide receiver, he'd drop a couple balls, and he would not get a target the rest of the game. Jordan Love trusting his wide receiver, Jayden Reed, and coming back to him, and made a massive play in this fourth quarter that, was part of why they won. Dontavian Wicks, another player that was super impressive in my opinion, 4 receptions, 45 yards. This guy continues to just get open, right? He reminds me a lot of Devontae Adams in the way he moves, the way he releases. Just thinking of the hips at the top of his route. It's a very shifty guy. Not saying he's going to be Devontae Adams, massive shoes to fill, but in the way he moves on the field and gets open, it looks very, familiar in my eyes, and Dontavian Wicks deserves more targets. Patrick Taylor also 3 for 23. Had a stint where they were throwing him the ball a lot on that one drive, and then 4th and 2 comes up, and we see Patrick Taylor out wide to the right, Demario Davis in back off coverage, very similar to last week, Bijan versus Devondre Campbell. And it looks like a miscommunication by both Love and Taylor. I think Love wanted him to go more of a 5-yard curl, where Taylor thought he should just off the snap, stand there, catch the ball, run for 2 yards. My opinion on that is, if you have a defender 10 yards off, why would you shorten that distance by running a 5-yard curl rather than just an instant stop route right off the snap? That's my opinion. Why shorten that distance when it's 4th and 2? Snap the ball quickly, throw to him, he'll get over the line in 2 yards very, very easily. So although that might have been Patrick Taylor's mistake in terms of running that curl not deep enough, I think the Packers shouldn't have been running that to begin with. It should have been a quick throw if he's 10 yards off the ball, an easy first down. So now going over kind of the mistakes. I mean, so many penalties by this Packers team in this game, 11 total penalties, and it really hurt them. Just kind of an undisciplined game, in my opinion. There was a lot of penalties that shouldn't have happened. Kenny Clark, personal foul, false starts, a lot of drive killers for that offense early on were started by penalties, right? Like, you can't expect to move the ball successfully when you start 1st and 15, 1st and 20, 1st and 25. When you start a drive with a penalty, it's a drive killer. So that definitely needs to get cleaned up. This Packers slow start definitely needs to be addressed. All 3 weeks, they've really started slow. Now, they are 2-1, so I am happy for that. But if they didn't start slow last week, maybe they end up winning that game, and they're 3-0 right now. It definitely needs to be addressed. This wasn't a perfect game by any means. I'm glad they won. but some things definitely need to be addressed. And I do want to give them massive credit. You know, Christian Watson being out, Aaron Jones, David Bakhtiari, Elton Jenkins, so many pivotal pieces on that offense, and yet they still come out and score 18 points. It is impressive, right? And I'm just so excited to see what this offense can do once those players are all back. Hopefully they're all back at some point. Christian Watson being back, we haven't seen that in this offense yet, and I'm super excited for that and what it can do for this offense. So I definitely want to give them credit, but there was a lot that needs to be fixed, and penalties is one of them. Like, that doesn't change no matter who's playing, right? Like, the penalties need to be addressed. They can't be killing their own drives and shooting themselves in the foot. Now moving on to the defense. The defense I was very impressed with today. I know early on a lot of people were already saying, you know, the fire Joe Barry and whatnot, but I believed they stepped up today, only allowing 10 points. And yes, the second half was all Jameis Winston, and Derek Carr was doing really well to start. You know, 13 of 18, a touchdown, a 104 rating, but was sacked 3 times. And man, got to give the game ball to my main man, Rashawn Gary. Been talking about him, saying he needs more snaps, and he ended this game with 3 sacks. You know, all these sacks in very crucial situations. Rashawn Gary, you got to pay the man. If he continues to get 3 sack games when he's not even on a full snap count, he's going to command a lot of money, and he deserves it. I think Rashawn Gary, you know, is one of the best edge rushers in the league. You know, he comes back after a torn ACL and is already doing this. It's absolutely insane. They need to pay the man. What a game by Rashawn Gary. Overall, this defense, I was very impressed with it because you're without Jair Alexander. Carrington Valentine comes in, makes a couple plays, but then gets hurt. But Corey Ballantyne, a practice squad call-up, ends up coming into the game, and I thought he played really well. He did allow that one deep catch to Olave on that last drive, but Olave is just an excellent wide receiver and made excellent catches today. You know, it was more so Olave just beating you, right, rather than poor coverage. And I thought Ballantyne really stepped up. You know, a practice squad guy getting called up, he probably thought, I'm just playing special teams in this game. Valentine goes down, you got to come into this game, and I thought he really stepped up. Next man up mentality. Same with the inside linebackers. Devondre Campbell leaving this game. We saw both Isaiah McDuffie and Eric Wilson come to this game. I thought they had great days. The Packers did a good job shutting down the Saints running offense. Now they're without Jamal Williams and Alvin Kamara, so that's something to be said, but no running back ran over 4 yards per carry. Miller, 9 for 34, 3.8 average. Tony Jones, 8 for 31, 3.9 average. Taysom Hill, 4 for 12, 3 average. Pretty much shut him down. The Packers did a good job against the run when it was the complete opposite last week, and I think that's part of the reason why this Saints team only scored 10 on offense. I also thought Rasul Douglas had an excellent day, making plays left and right. Rudy Ford was kind of up and down. Probably should have had like 2 interceptions. Same with Keyshawn Nixon to end that half. Should have had an interception and not allowed the Saints to kick a field goal to end that half. But nonetheless, I thought they did okay in coverage. I think they still could have been more aggressive. They were much more aggressive in that fourth quarter, which I love. I love seeing that press man, just overall forcing Jameis Winston to beat you, which he didn't. Chris Olave, 8 receptions, 104 yards. You know, you kind of expect that. He's a great wide receiver. Mike Thomas, 6 for 50. The slant god. That's pretty much all he did. That's really all he did. I'm not impressed by it. Tony Jones, 4 for 21. Overall, the Packers defense really did shut down this Saints offense, especially when Jameis had to come in. 10 of 16, 101 yards. Sacked him once, had an 80.5 rating. I was extremely impressed with this defense. Down Devondre Campbell, down Jair Alexander. Kenny Clark had an early sack, and the run defense overall just played great. And to hold them at the end of the game to not make it a more manageable field goal, which won this game. You know, the Saints' new kicker grouper missing that field goal. I had no idea why they got rid of Will Lutz. I mean, I think Will Lutz would have made that kick. Nonetheless, the Packers still would have had a minute and 2 timeouts to go, potentially make their own kick for the win. But what a day by the defense to go into the half down 17-0 and not let up another point. Awesome day by that defense, shutting down this offense in the second half and allowing this offense plenty of opportunities, because man, they had plenty to come back and win this game. So my closing thoughts are, what a victory, what a comeback by this Packers team. There's still a lot that has to be fixed, but you have to give them credit with all the injuries on this team already in week 3 with a new quarterback, a very young team going against a 2-0 Saints team that's been very good the first 2 weeks of the season, coming back and winning this game in the fourth quarter. It shows the drive, the heart by Jordan Love, by this Packers team to not give up and continue on. And that's very exciting to see that from this team. Very, very exciting. They turn around on a very short week. Game against Detroit in Lambeau this Thursday. It's gonna be a good one. Hopefully they get back Jones, Watson, and Alexander, hopefully. But that about does it for my instant thoughts and reactions on this week 3 victory, 18-17 over the New Orleans Saints. If you are a new viewer and enjoy Packers analysis every single day, go down and click the subscribe button. News, analysis, updates, injury reports, live streams, all here right on this channel. So if you want to stay in the loop with everything Green Bay Packers, go down and click subscribe. But that about does it for this video. I appreciate you guys coming by. If you could leave a like down below, it supports my channel a ton. But I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.